The power grab over at StatsCan. I'm Brian Lilley with the Rebel.media. It shouldn't be surprising that the folks that run Statistics Canada, the national statistical agency, have decided that now is the time to reach for a power grab, and a major power grab at that. StatsCan is, in essence, a bureaucracy, a government agency like any others, but they see themselves as being much more than that, especially given the importance put upon them by the current government, the one that made such a big deal about bringing back the national mandatory law-informed census, bringing back jail time for people that didn't want to reveal personal information to a government bureaucrat. Well, StatsCan now says this is the time to make their power grab, and it's sweeping in what they want to do. Everything from requiring corporations to hand over data that they have in their possessions, not-for-profits to do the same, or deciding who gets to go to jail for what. This was all revealed in a leaked document provided to the Canadian press by Stats Canada. They have submitted it to an organization that advises them on how to operate, and it's being floated to the government as well. Give them sweeping new powers to update the Act, increase the fines from $1970 to current dollars to make people that won't comply with their demands feel the pain. What are they talking about? Well, let's deal with the mandatory part. This was the big push in the last election. Bring back the mandatory law-informed census. All the previous government did, the Conservatives, was take away sending people to jail for refusing to fill out a very intrusive form. People of all political persuasions had objected to the census in the past. In fact, one former Green Party candidate in Saskatchewan had said she would go to jail rather than fill it out. She was not a Stephen Harper supporter, but she refused and she was prosecuted. Is that really what we want the government to be doing? Well, the Liberals said yes, and they brought back jail time, all the while promising they won't use it. But now StatsCan wants to use it even more. They want the ability to determine which of their surveys are mandatory and which ones are not. Doesn't sound like a big thing, but let me read to you from the document. It says, the wording of the current section is potentially confusing. The section should be rewritten first to assign the responsibility for exercising any discretion with respect to the mandatory or voluntary nature of a survey to the chief statistician, since this is a methodological issue affecting data quality. See, they just see this as, well, it's how it affects a survey. It's also how it affects people's lives. What they are asking for is the ability for bureaucrats to decide when you go to jail and when you don't. See, the mandatory part means jail time if you refuse to comply. And they want the ability to decide, well, this survey is important to us, so you don't fill it out, you go to jail. Isn't that what our legislators are supposed to do? Isn't that their area of discretion? Shouldn't Parliament be the place where they decide when you do and don't go to jail, when you're in violation of the law and when you're not, as opposed to delegating it all to a group of bureaucrats that obviously want incredibly sweeping powers? They also want the ability, by the way, to appoint the chief statistician without government input. They want to do away with the government IT department because they don't want oversight from the IT department that runs every other government department, national defense, CSIS, all of it. No, they are bigger and better than that. And they want your information from your private business. Let me read to you from this. This is an incredibly sweeping part, and it's long, so please bear with me. They write, this section is critical for the future operations and health of the national statistical system. What Statistics Canada believes the section says and needs it to say is that the agency can require any organization to provide any data file in its possession that originates with that organization to Statistics Canada for statistical purposes. Any data file, any organization. That, ladies and gentlemen, is incredibly broad and sweeping. Nothing is private anymore in the eyes of StatsCan. This is Big Brother writ large. You've got a data file, they want it, they want the power to be able to force you to hand it over. And in case that wasn't clear enough, they then go into detail. Let me continue reading. This would include, without restricting the generality of the provisions, such things as building permit records and property evaluation records from municipal governments, health insurance records, motor vehicle registration and vital statistics records from provincial government departments, and electronic service billing files, credit card transaction files, cellular telephone transaction files, point of sale product code scanner transaction files, and internet search transaction files. They want your ISP to tell them what you're searching for. They want to know what you're buying. They want to know what you're trying to buy, what you're trying to build. Is this a stats agency or an oversight body that is determined to look into every facet of your life? The scary part is this government is prone to give it to them. They are enamored with experts. They are enamored with the idea of the mandatory law-informed census. Stats Canada is right to make this power grab at this time. The government would be wrong to give it to them.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.